Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. Today we're talking about spring. Join us as we share all the things we're doing to make this new season fresh and fun. Let's get started. Listeners, today we're talking about spring. And as we're recording this, spring is 1 week away and we are so excited. Things are starting to green up and our thoughts are turning to the great outdoors. Julie and Mindy, have you felt the warm air and are you feeling more spring-like?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I just love how God created the seasons and they parallel real life. Like spring is just such a picture of hope and new beginning and growth and even like impermanence, like life's always changing moving forward. And without fail, spring will follow winter. And sometimes it's just good to remember that because this winter was particularly long and dreary for me. So I needed spring.
Julie, I feel like you are reading off of my notes. Like almost every single thing that you just said there, I included to talk about. And so I'm not going to lie, I had a hard time getting on to Skype with you guys today because I came home from teaching fitness class and it was so beautiful outside. I was almost like Julie Andrews, Maria at the beginning of Sound of Music, where she's on the hills and she's singing and she's looking at everything and she's just in her own world. And then all of a sudden she realized, oh my goodness, I'm late. I have to run inside.
Oh
yes,
my goodness.
I'm loving spring so much. I had a hard time coming inside.
Yes.
I know. I think it was 2 weeks ago, Marie had called and asked me to walk or something. And I think I said, no, I don't feel like it.
Right.
I don't want to go. I don't think I'd be very good company. And then when we did walk, she was like, well, what are some things you'd want to do? And I was like, oh, I don't know, nothing. And then I think it was spring the next day and it's like, all that's changed.
Oh, right. Yes. It's energizing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really neat. Well, listeners, one of the things that you said to us when we asked you for topic ideas was you said you love our seasonal episodes. So it seemed very appropriate going into a new season that we would have a seasonal episode. And we've had various spring episodes over the years that we've been podcasting. This time we are doing Spring Into, and we are going to share the things that we are springing into this season. And they're going to be random. Everybody pick different things, but we're just going to take turns. So, Julie, what is the first thing that you are springing into this spring?
Well, I'll just start off subtle and build as we go on.
Okay.
Just generally freshening up, cleaning up. Like I always do this and feel so much better. Like I moved all the coats and hats and gloves off the coat rack by the back door. Now, I might still need one or two of them again, but they don't get to stay out where I look at them every day. So it just feels good. Like, no, winter's over. I'm putting this away.
Mm-hmm.
I love opening the windows some days. I have screens for the first time. Our old house didn't have screens, so we never opened the windows. So I'm enjoying that. I switched out my scents. Like I had, I think I still had Christmas tree scent in my kitchen soap. So I love all the Myers soap. So I've just gone to my spring scent. And then the other day, I cleaned out my car. I went out to just get some stuff out. And then I thought, okay, this has been in here since December. So I started pulling that out. And then I was just going to vacuum the carpets. And then I cleaned the mats. And then I even washed it.
That's awesome.
I was like you, Mindy.
Wow.
It's like, no, it's too pretty a day to go back inside. So how can I stay out here longer? So I just washed the car.
That's great.
Wow, I'm impressed. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm kind of doing the same thing. In our home, there's a lot of yard cleanup. We have a lot of early spring storms that are coming through. I'm sure you guys as well. So I feel like I'm not necessarily doing the work, but I'm walking alongside and entertaining the people that are, which would be I'm sitting on the front porch swing a lot and like Bryce or Jacob or Nathan or Grant or somebody is picking up sticks in the yard, pine cones that have fallen, using the blower a lot to kind of clean up the yard. And so Our grass here down in the South is Myers zoysia. So it goes dormant and turns kind of a light brown color through the winter. And it's starting to green up again. And so just taking the layers of dead off of that kind of take a lot of yard cleanup. So I'm not necessarily doing it, like I said, but I am enjoying watching that being done. Brings me a lot of joy.
Yeah.
And so then I'm walking around. I look at trees, shrubs, flowers that are coming up, new leaves that are forming. Certain trees already have leaves all over them. Others are just starting to bud. And so that's my favorite thing to do in the springtime is I'm watching and looking for the new growth from all the things that have been pruned back and that have been dead through the winter.
Mm-hmm.
In my house, we're actually gearing up for a major project. We have slowly done a kitchen renovation. We are about to leave on a spring break trip, and while we're gone, we're having our kitchen cabinets painted. That has been stressful to try to make a decision, and but I feel like step by step, I've come to a place where I feel at peace about what we've chosen to do. And so that's going to be happening here in the next couple weeks. So that's kind of the big house stuff is just normal spring cleanup as the sun shines in and I see all the dust, but also preparing for this big project.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
That is a big project. And it's a great thing to have done while you're gone.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. I'm excited. You'll have to definitely show Julie and I some pictures of that.
Yes. I will keep you guys posted.
Yes. Well, I am also doing yard work. I did a lot of spreading of pine straw this weekend and cleaning up the last of the leaves from last fall and trying to get the yard ready for that green grass and things coming back to life. But the first thing that I wanted to say that I'm springing into, and all my things start with S this time, you guys. I guess I was into, is it called alliteration?
Yeah.
So I am springing into sourdough bread making. And as we are recording, I have a loaf in the oven and we'll need to go down and take it out because I'm trying to make 2 loaves today to take as gifts for my daughters. But last Wednesday night, I went to a sourdough bread making class in the neighborhood, and I have been very intimidated. I said to Julie, I am 5 years behind the sourdough trend. It was March of 2020 when you started hearing of everybody making sourdough bread. But I've always been so intimidated by the idea of having to measure out in grams, and it seems so finicky, like if you didn't have the exact right ratio, then your bread wasn't going to taste good. And I just would look at recipes online and be overwhelmed before I could even start. So I thought, well, I'm going to do this little class. And she was so casual about it. There was no scales. There were just measuring cups. And she was like, you can't mess this up. There's a lot of grace in it. I wouldn't say that she was into like making a pretty design on it and making it perfectly, but that gives me the freedom to feel like I can be successful with it. And so these are my 3rd and 4th loaves, and they've risen fine. They've tasted great. And it's a really satisfying feeling to have made my own sourdough bread after all these years of admiring people that did it, but being too intimidated to start.
Yeah, they look great. So I can't wait to learn. Marie's, once she gets it under her belt, she's going to pass on her knowledge.
Yes. Yes.
I feel like I need to be in that class.
Yes.
We could Zoom you. We could Zoom you in, Mindy.
My gosh, you're speaking my language. Have you guys ever heard of friendship bread?
Yeah.
Yes. We talked about that. Yeah.
Okay. Is this similar to friendship bread to make sourdough bread?
Well, it's similar in that you have to feed a starter, but I don't know that you have to like let friendship bread I've never made it, but I don't know if there's as many steps as there are for sourdough bread.
Oh, well, because my one foray into, I had a really sweet friend that gave me lovingly a starter for friendship bread. And by the 7 to 10 days or whatever, I was like, she hates me because this is not a friendship situation for me. That friendship bread died.
Okay.
And now the friendship lived on.
Right.
I kind of knew where, my ground was, and that was not in the friendship bread department.
It does kind of seem like something else to take care of.
Yes.
Like a living thing that I have to keep alive.
Yeah.
Like, I know she loves me, but it feels like she's punishing me somehow for brain friends.
Yeah. Well, I was under the impression that I would have to feed this starter every day. And she was like,
Right.
no, you can let it go dormant in the refrigerator for up to 6 months if you wanted to travel. Or, yeah, like if it was out on your counter, you'd have to feed it every day. But if you put it in the
Okay.
refrigerator, it kind of goes to sleep. She was just very casual about the whole thing. So it made me more willing to try.
Yes.
Yeah. You can send it back to winter whenever you want to.
Yeah.
I really like the sound of this. You're speaking my language. I definitely want to be a part of this.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, Julie, what is your next thing that you're springing into?
Okay, I'm springing into learning something new, and I signed up for a watercolor class.
Oh, great.
And it's exciting because it's in my neighborhood. It meets right here in the neighborhood, and it's every Saturday in March for 2 hours. So it's a lot of instruction.
Nice.
It's live.
Wow.
It's in a really nice art room. Like, it's just a great place to learn. And I just can't believe I've dabbled in watercolor for probably 7 or 8 years, and I've been talking about this for so long, so I can't believe I've finally done it. So I've been to
Yes.
one class, and she gives you things to work on all during the week, so it's made me, keep up with the art, like, doing it every day, and so I'm
That's
excited about that.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah.
Wow.
I guess I was under the impression that you had taken some classes. So
I had taken an online class, and it just
Okay.
I don't think I finished it. It just I don't know. I just didn't there was not enough, you didn't get feedback instant. And
Mhm.
that's what you need to be able to ask questions and,
Okay.
Yeah. before you make mistakes.
That's awesome. That's really good. All right. Well, we want to see some of your created projects.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Mindy, what else are you springing into?
I'm springing into some fun fashion choices. We're all in that weird state of it's cold in the morning, it might be getting warm later, it's going to rain today. Is this an open-toed shoe situation, a closed-toed shoe situation? How many layers am I going to need? And so with the spring and, it's staying light so much longer, I just want color. I want pink, I want blue, I want yellow, I want green. And so I'm trying to find pieces in my wardrobe to kind of get through this transitional season.
Mhm.
And so I'm bringing back my Target wide leg linen pants.
Mhm.
Those are a great option right now. And also there's a lot of wide leg jeans that are just really popular right now. And so I love pairing those with like literally a kind of a fitted tank top. And then you can have your little denim coat or any type of little shacket or jacket. There's a lot of cropped options out there. And so it kind of breaks up. You're not just wearing like, a long jacket with wide leg pants. I feel like you kind of have to balance it out. So if it's wide on the bottom, it needs to be kind of small on the top. So I'm loving those linen pants. I got some fun jeans from Anthropologie, actually. Abby and I went together and got these kind of wild pants. They've got frayed around the edges. They're really, really billowy around the ankles. So it's almost like a skirt, but it's pants, if that
That's
makes
nice.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really fun little option. I never thought I would buy anything like that, but I love them.
Mhm.
So wearing those with probably Birkenstocks, flip-flops. Some days it's my little white tennis shoes. So some other outfit inspiration is I talked about, you guys know I love all my blazers.
Mhm.
Well, they really, really come in handy this time of year. So my favorite one right now is the white blazer that I got off clearance rack at J. Crew last season. Because you can dress it up or down. So I'm putting that with, again, just like a fitted t-shirt or tank top and jeans. You can do any type of shoes. You can put your white tennis shoes with it. You can do wedges with an open toe, depending on the weather. I love it. Long dresses with cropped sweaters, like think 90s. Think like Phoebe Buffay from Friends. She did this. I used to wear this as a teenager. Long dresses, cropped sweater over the top. super cute look. I love it. And then I'm just doing a lot of walking. So when I'm walking, it's a lot of times shorts with a sweatshirt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's all about the layers. And so I'm still loving my on cloud shoes, like for fitness classes. And then the shoes that I go for long walks in are my Brooks Glycerin. And those are the things that I'm loving right now to get through the spring.
Oh, that's great. I feel like you must be going a lot more places than I go, Mindy, because I can't imagine where I would wear all those blazers.
Oh, listen, it's workout clothes through the week, and all those cute outfit inspirations, that's for like Sunday.
Okay. Okay.
Like 1 day a week.
Okay. Because I'm thinking, where would I go?
Oh, actually, the only other day I wear like real clothes is when I serve at the Crisis Pregnancy Center. I get to
Okay.
dress cute that day too. So there's 2
Okay.
days.
Okay. I'm feeling better about this then. Okay. That's so funny. Well, one of the things that I'm springing into is scrolling less. And I don't know if it was the winter or just, I don't know, bad habits in general, but I had really gotten to a point where I was just spending too much time mindlessly scrolling. So I've really felt challenged this spring to scroll less. So one of the things that I did was move my Facebook and Instagram like 3 screens over, maybe even 4 screens over from my main screen. Because Abigail was telling me that even if you just move where it's located, like your muscles and your hands have muscle memory and they're just going to it without you even realizing. You're bored for a second, you pick up your phone and your thumb just clicks on it. And then you see something and you start scrolling. So moving that made me get on a lot less. Then I've also just felt convicted about just not doing it. So like the biggest thing about not getting on Facebook is I hate missing out on the buy, sell, trade finds. Because if you don't get on, especially the ones in our neighborhood, if you're not on a regular basis, then you're going to get on and see great things, but you'll see a bunch of people have already gotten them. So that is one of the things I think even about getting on Facebook is if you've picked up some good things in the neighborhood, then that makes you want to keep getting on the site to see, well, what else could I find? But I'm just having to set that aside. I'm having to say, okay, I'm going to miss out on some things. And I'm finding myself checking it, maybe 2 times a day, which is a lot better than what I was doing before.
Yeah.
And then I can't just say, okay, I'm just never going to pick up my phone because I don't know, I'm just not a all or nothing type of person. So I thought, what could I put in place of that? Because I know that theoretically I could stand there in the Kroger line and think about nothing, but my muscle memory is going to want to do something. So normally I download books to my Kindle, but now I've been downloading them to my phone. And I don't like doing that because one, it's a little smaller of a screen and I feel guilty that I have a Kindle and I'm not using it. And also they say you should read on the Paperwhite because it's closer to a book instead of on the bright phone screen. But I have to set all that aside and say, what is going to make me actually read? And isn't it better for me to read on my phone than it is for me to scroll? So I read 4 books in a week because instead of sitting there scrolling while I eat my lunch, I read a book. Instead of standing in the Costco line scrolling, I can read. Before I go to bed, I like to just have some downtime. And so it's not really downtime to sit there and scroll, but it is downtime to sit there and read. So I just found that there's a lot of like incidental time that I could be reading. So I've really been trying to do better with that. And just being more mindful of not wasting my time. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do this spring.
Yeah, that's a good plan. I need to try moving it because I thought of deleting it and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to delete it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but just moving it is probably helpful.
No, that's a great kind of life hack. I love that.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's what I'm springing into. All right, Julie, what else are you springing into?
All right, I'm springing into sprucing up my closet. All winter, I lived in sweatpants and sweatshirts, and I really didn't have very many winter clothes. I had things like to wear to church, dresses, but really nothing else. There was no in between.
Mhm.
And I thought, oh, what am I going to wear this summer? I need to go shopping. And one day I thought, okay, I'm going shopping on a Saturday and I need to get this, this, and this. I had looked at things I wanted. And I thought, well, I'll go look in my closet first because I kind of keep my winter and summer separate. So I started pulling out all this summer and I had a ton of stuff. Like I already had white jeans. I already had 3 or 4 pair of great pants. I already had dresses. But I just started trying some things on. I liked that it kind of reaffirmed, yes, I like these. Like I had white jeans, but do I like them? Yes, I did.
Mhm.
So I kind of put those on a hanger, hung them up. And then if I didn't like it or if it was a little out of date or worn, I just tossed it. And so I ended up going through, I spent the entire morning, I tried on every single thing in my closet.
What?
I don't think I've ever done that. A summer thing,
Right. That's great.
Okay.
And so then I thought, okay, if I'm going to keep these pants, what am I going to wear with it? And I try to find 2 or 3 things that went with it. And I actually tried it on. And it was so helpful because I think I would have kept a lot more things based on the memory of liking it,
Mm.
but not really
Yeah.
liking it now.
Mhm.
And so if I tried it on and just was like, this is just too old or,
Mhm.
out of style or whatever, I just tossed it.
Mhm.
And I think I had one bag to go to Goodwill and I took it that day, got it out of here. So I've heard of people saying that that's a good exercise and I don't know that I've ever done it. So,
That's great.
it was a good thing for me to do.
And it narrows down in your mind what you actually need.
Yeah. And now I don't need to go shopping. I didn't go shopping and I don't need to.
Oh,
That's
wow.
wonderful.
Other than a few workout clothes that need updating. That's really all I need to do.
That's good.
And
I'm
that
really
felt good.
impressed. I feel like I need to make a folder on my phone of outfits that I wear that I really like. But a lot of times, because I only dress up like 2 days a week, I forget what outfits I really like. Like when I go to put on that pair of jeans, I'm trying to like rack my brain. What did I wear with that I really felt good in? What shoes did I put with that? And so I feel like when I find a cute outfit, I need to actually take a picture and somehow
Yeah.
create a folder.
Mhm.
That's a good idea.
So I remember what it is that I like that goes together because our closets become like familiar foreign objects, and how to put things together. And I don't leave myself enough time for creativity with like this cute belt that I picked out, now it's been years ago. And how can I incorporate that? So
Yeah. I like the idea of a picture. That's a good
and
idea.
I think it would be helpful because I do just easily forget when something's cute. And then, you're only wearing it maybe once or twice in a season, and then a year passes.
Mhm. Yeah.
And here we are again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so what are you springing into, Mindy?
Well, I actually have a things I want to spring into list.
Okay.
There are things that I'm noticing in my life that I kind of started a list of, okay, I need to pay attention here and actually have a list that I can work on, especially in my downtime. So I'm not just scrolling. There's
Mhm.
more light in the day. It's warmer outside. Somehow that's given me energy to kind of be ready to tackle some things that have been there for a while.
Mhm.
So one of the things that I'm definitely feeling convicted about is I have loved having some really good comfort foods that I have snacked on like through the winter. And it's not been out of control and it's not been in a bad way, but I'm like, okay, it's time to clean that up. I'm more excited to add in some good fresh fruits again. I
Mm.
just bought kiwi again. I know this is so simple, but there's something about the weather that
Oh,
makes
for
me want to
sure.
kind of
Yeah.
like, okay, it's time to move past those yummy comfort foods that I loved when it was cold. And now I'm ready to actually clean up my diet a little bit.
Mhm.
So we are starting to grill more. Of course, like opening up our outdoor kitchen. We've used it all through the winter. I act like we haven't, but we have.
Yeah.
but I think we're just more excited to, like we're making grilled chicken at home instead of buying chicken that's already ready. So we're just
Mm.
starting to
Mhm.
have that on hand so then we can use it for different dishes throughout the week. That's been exciting. Something else I wanted to work on is wearing my cute clothes. We joked about that. I have 2 days a week that I wear cute clothes, but I want to actually wear them and not just wear the same jeans with different shirts, but I want to wear all the jeans and I want to wear all the shirts. I also, on that note, want to go through my closet, like Julie mentioned, and I need to clean it out and I need to actually sell the clothes that were expensive that are still in style. Maybe it was more of a fast fashion choice for me a year ago, and now I need to go ahead and unload that. And so that is a process.
It is.
So it's kind of intimidating. And also it just takes time. So it's not something that I just excitedly jump into. I procrastinate for a while, but now I'm ready to at least tell you guys about it because I'm getting closer to actually doing it.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. If someone else can say to you in a few weeks, hey, did you try on your clothes?
That's always intimidating to me to put something out there because I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody might buy it. And then I've got to actually get it to them in a timely fashion.
I would be more intimidated that no one wanted to buy it, that I'd be like, oh, rejected. I should have just donated it.
I know it's no fun to kind of even put like the size of it. It's intimidating to put these personal things, out there on social media, but everybody does it. I'm like, okay, just don't worry about any of it. Just get rid of your clothes. So I'd like to have a return on my investment, at least a little bit.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. Well, speaking of something else that I'm springing into, one of mine was simplifying my wardrobe. And you're probably thinking, how much more simple can you get, Marie? But I noticed that it seems like every year I wear less and less clothing. And I mean, like, as far as the number of items.
Okay, good.
That's dangerous.
Like, my number seriously gets less and less. So I noticed this past season, I bought one pair of jeans, a vest, a sweater, a couple long sleeve shirts, a dress shirt, a sweatshirt, and like a pair of joggers. And all of those things ended up being my most worn items. And yeah, sometimes I would wear something from in the past, but mostly just on Sundays. I didn't buy, I don't think, any new church clothes this past season. But I bought like one nice blouse and I ended up wearing it for all my holiday events, a couple parties, anything that I had to look nice for, I just wore that same outfit. So that was kind of like my dress up outfit. And then I wore like the thinner sweater in warmer cold weather where I didn't want to be too hot, but I needed to look like I had tried. And then I wore like the thicker sweater if it was a little bit colder. I wore my long sleeve shirts like with my jeans or my, they were a little bit nicer looking jogger pants. They kind of had flared bottoms. I really liked them and enjoyed them and they were comfortable. So I found myself wearing them a lot. I wore my real jeans only when I had to go to something like book club or something where you have to put on real pants. And I just wore the same ones every time. So I don't know. I just found that other than like my tried and familiar house clothes, if I was going to be seen by other people, it was one of those things that I had bought and I just rotated them and just, pretty much wore the same thing. And then I thought back to last fall and summer and like last year for my summer clothes, I think I ordered like a couple new tank tops that weren't workout, that you could wear other places. And I think in just about every single picture that I took last summer, I'm wearing one of the two. Like, I just wore them a lot. And I noticed that's what I do. I'll buy a couple things and then I'll just wear them a lot. And sometimes I'll buy more thinking, well, I need more things to rotate through. But then I don't rotate through them. I don't wear them. They sit there. I wear the same ones that I bought that I actually liked. And then I might wear a different one because I feel guilty that I bought it, but I don't actually really love it. So I just decided I'm going to give myself permission to only have a few things. And if I have all my Facebook pictures in the same outfit, then that's what it comes down to.
Gosh, I think I had 4 dresses last summer and I thought, okay, that's one a Sunday and then I could just repeat it the next month. And that felt too often to me. I was
are you serious? No, Julie, I'll wear the same things like every 3 weeks. And
I can't do that. I just get bored with it.
If I have 3 church outfits, that's enough for me.
See, I like variety in all kinds of things. So like that's just
Yeah. Well, I have enough summer dresses, and also the fashion down here in the South is just very feminine. And so I have enough that I might add 1 or 2 dresses during a year, during that season.
Mhm.
But like when my dresses come out, I wear a different one through the entire summer. I rarely will wear the same dress on a Sunday because I'm so excited to be able to
Mhm.
pull out a new dress. It's like a new dress every Sunday, and it happens just once a year.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm an anomaly. When you talk about, "Oh, I really need to allow myself some creativity and fun to figure out how I could incorporate this belt," please shoot me now. I do not find that fun at all. I want 2 belts and tell me what I need to wear them with, and that is what I'll wear with them. I don't want to think of what I could wear my belt with. I want someone to say, this is the outfit that you put on, because I get no joy. I get joy from like that the clothes fit me and stuff, but I get no joy from like seeing if I could create a new outfit. It gives me 0 joy.
Oh,
kind of the Garanimal approach. Like when you were a child, did you like that?
love Garanimals. I loved it when I could dress my kids in things that were like, you pair this shirt with this pants, and like, I just like a system. I like a system.
oh my gosh. So, as much as you can't stand that, Marie, that's how I felt about the friendship bread.
Yes.
But this is Mindy from high school. I used to get all excited every night. I would pick out my clothes with accessories every night before school. And it brought me so much joy to have fun with it and to play around with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So believe it or not, one of my spring things is to simplify even more my wardrobe and to be fine with it.
I love it. I love it. Yes.
Okay. All right, Julie, what else are you springing into?
All right, I'm springing into a couple home projects. Right now, I'm in the middle of a huge project for me. It's actually one that's on my 25 in 2025 bingo card, by the way.
Oh, really?
Good job.
I'm repainting the picket fence in my front yard. Now, it was very deceptive because I have a very small yard. The fence is short. I told myself this will be easy. It will be fun. Well, neither has been true, unfortunately. I don't guess I'd ever taken a really close look at that fence. I knew it needed painting, but I thought I could just go and paint it, just put some paint on it. Well, I start hand sanding and paint's chipping off. So then I moved to a power sander and lots of paint chipped off, but still more to come. So I got out the power washer. And then I had to fill holes and cracks in the wood with wood filler. Well, that means you have to re-sand it.
Oh.
And I counted, there's like 120 spindles, on the, it's like yeah, 4-sided spindles, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So then I had to prime it, and then I had to put the final color on. And that's where I am right now, putting the paint color on. So my mom has helped me. She wanted to help, so she's been a big help. And my son has helped me a little bit.
Okay.
But as I've invested more and more time into this, like I have wanted to quit every single day. And I have grumbled through the entire project. And I've become really convicted about how much I've grumbled over it because I've decided I want to finish well. I know that John and I often butted heads around projects because he cared most about getting it done right, and I cared most about getting it done quickly. And those two things usually don't go together. You don't get both. So now, and to be honest, John would have never even started this project. He would have just hired it done. But in things that he did think were important, he did a good job. So I'm trying to stick with it and have a good attitude. And it's like, all I have is time. I've got time for this,
Right.
And I want to do a good job. And it was funny because David was out there helping me, grumbling. And he goes, Mom, why didn't you just hire this done? And I said, well, because I thought I should be able to do it and it would be fun. And I said, plus, that's really expensive to hire someone to paint your fence. So I had just shown him, because he was helping me hang something in my kitchen, this big platter. It was this huge pheasant platter, and I have it hanging so there's so much redundancy in my hanging system because I don't want it to fall and break because I kind of splurged, paid a lot of money for it. And I've been watching it in the antique store for almost a year, and I was like, okay, he marked it down 20%. I thought this is my sign to buy it. It was still way more than I ever thought I'd pay, but so he's, I said, it's too expensive to hire someone to paint. So he's out there painting, and a few minutes later he goes, how much did you pay for that platter? And I said, none of your business. Only your dad could ask me that question.
That's right.
And so I know he's sitting there thinking, because she bought that platter, I'm painting this. But see, in my economy, I thought I bought that platter, so I better paint this fence.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing, Julie.
I know, because I'm sure he's like, oh, like I'm not getting any benefit from that platter, but I'm out here.
Right.
Oh, well, I'm sure that there are things that he's bought that you would say that was a little extravagant, and then he has to make up for it in other ways.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud of you, Julie. And it's funny because in a marriage, there usually is someone that cares more about how it's done. And without John there to be that person, it forces you to say to yourself, now, do I really just not care how it's done? Or did John just care more so I could kind of fob it off on him? Because I think you actually do care how it's done. Yeah. It was just easy for John to be the one to say it before.
Yeah, it's true because I don't know, it felt kind of wrong to not want to do it well, you know? And I thought this fence should look like the best fence on the block. Right. And it's so funny because every neighbor has come by and I'm like, I hope I'm not out here all summer. I hope that you don't see me out here as they walk by every day, because it's been close to 2 weeks. So, and I'm not done yet. So the other night Marie was like, oh, I think it's going to take 2 coats of paint. And I said, you will probably hear me scream from your house if this doesn't cover in 1 coat. So I can't, the verdict is not in yet as to whether it's going to cover in 1 coat. But
sometimes you just can't think about that until the first coat's on.
I know. So
yes, but you're doing hard things one day at a time.
Yes.
That's great. That's really good. All right, Mindy, what else is on your list of things that you want to spring into?
Something I'm springing into is Bryce and I are taking a lot of little trips together. We started noticing that we had a lot more time, just the 2 of us, because Nathan is spending more time away from the house, either working, obviously still in school. He's had a lot of little things that he's doing, like with church, D Now. He did 2 D Nows. He's preparing to be a camp counselor this summer. That required an overnight training. And so Bryce and I decided to start taking little trips together. We're flirting with empty nest. And we're just kind of picking a destination. We'll spend 1 night away from the house. And we're doing this, like we've gone on like 4 trips already.
Oh, that's great.
Literally just little short trips, enough to get out of town, adventure, eat some good food, explore the area, do a little shopping, find a trail to walk on, and then we'll come home. And it has been so fun to feel like we have freedom because it's like 2 days and 1 night. It's very short. It's a little adventure. The furthest that we have driven is 5 hours away. And so we just woke up early. We're like, well, we can wake up early and get there. And that's what we're doing. And so that's been something fun as we both anticipate really grieving Nathan going to college, is adding in these little adventures together to kind of start practicing having new life, I guess.
No, I like that, Mindy. That's really good. It gets you excited about something that you were a little bit dreading.
Yes, we're trying. We are trying. We're still going to dread it and we're still going to grieve. But we are working on adding in some adventure.
But you'll have practiced some good habits.
Yeah, we're trying. Yeah. Yes.
All right. One of the things that I am springing into is solving problems in my home. So 1.5 years in, I'm still solving things that bug me. And I guess spring is a good time to do that because you get into kind of spring cleaning. You don't have to make room for your holiday stuff anymore. You start looking around. It's lighter and brighter longer. And I hate it when the sun shines in on like all the problem areas, but it also brings them to your attention.
Yeah.
So there's just been some things, and they're not huge, but like I have these bookshelves in my living room, and the bottom of them has covered storage. And in one section, I had put a lot of grandchildren toys in there to keep them out of sight and something they would do. Well, I found that they would come over and open both the doors and just kind of take everything out. And then the doors would just be like hanging open. And for some reason, that just visually was just too much for me every single time. The door's wide open, the toys half in, half out, and it would be like that the whole time they're there. And if it's a bigger family gathering, people are kind of trying to walk around the doors. So I just decided, where else can I put these toys? And I already have one whole closet devoted to toys, but I decided to take the bottom half of my coat closet. I looked at it. It has shelving, and I thought, what do I really have on here? Some bags that I'm saving, like all middle-aged women do. Good bags that I cannot bear to get rid of.
Yes.
Some, I think it was mostly bags, like some random hats and gloves, which I could put somewhere else. Some pool things for like the summer, but it didn't have anything that I was using on a regular basis. So I cleaned all that out, moved all those toys in there. And if they leave that closet door open, it's not in my visual line of sight the whole time, like the living room is. And then I had, our hallway has overhead lights, but I really like a nice soft light. And so I would only turn on the lamp by the door. And then I felt like that should be enough light to walk up and down the hallway and live. And I would continually find that Steve had turned on the overhead lights. And there's like 4 that come on with one switch. And they're just glaring. And I thought, oh, I hate these. I hate that he does that, but he obviously feels like he needs more light. So I thought, how can I get more lamp light out in this hallway? So I ended up moving this like sideboard that I had in my bedroom out to the hallway. I bought 2 little lamps for it at Home Goods. And now I turn those on so that hopefully he doesn't feel the need to turn on those overhead lights.
Yeah, let us know how that works.
Yeah.
Or you could put a piece of tape over the switch.
Right. Yeah.
Ooh, Julie. Mastermind. I love it.
Yeah. And then I started looking at what I actually stored in that sideboard. Again, a lot of things that I don't even really get in and use. And I ended up feeling like, yes, I still needed something under the TV in my bedroom, but I chose something a little bit smaller. I got some artwork because on the TV wall, it was just the TV. And that would have been something that I didn't love, but I really hadn't taken the time to think about what I wanted there. So I cozied that up a little bit. It seems like when you make one small change to fix a problem, it leads to some other good changes in return. And so, yeah, I'm trying to give myself permission to identify a problem and figure out a solution and try and do something about it right then. Or, then that becomes my mission for the next week. Like, I'm going to get lamps, or I'm going to figure out another thing underneath my TV and just kind of do it until it happens. I tried to say to myself, well, when something comes up, but I'm just not that type of person. I need to just solve the problem.
Yeah, I love reorganizing storage. That's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Finding better places, better solutions for things, closer to where you use them, or.
Yeah. And storage is really not my strong point. Like, I will have things in a closet, but not necessarily well organized. So I'm trying to stretch myself this spring and do a little bit better on organizing.
I'm really proud of you because I will procrastinate that all day long. I have a linen closet that's been calling my name and I'm still ignoring it. So
linen closets are notorious for just like, you can find the oldest things in the back of them. You're like, how did this even get here?
And it seems like it multiplies. You clean it out and then in 6 months, it looks like it did before.
I mean, I have known that the sheets that Bryce and I got at our wedding shower almost 28 years ago, have no stretch in the fitted sheet anymore, yet they are still in that linen closet. I mean, why?
Sentimental.
I don't even use them, but they're monogrammed. I mean, you can't get rid of something that's monogrammed.
There's got to be a law against that somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my goodness. So I'm proud of you, Marie.
Thank you. All right, Julie, what's the last thing that you are springing into?
All right, I'm springing into flowers and in two areas. As soon as Trader Joe's puts out their spring flower bulbs, like they're potted, I buy them. I had hyacinths at first, and that was still when it was dead winter out, because they smell so good, and they usually last about 2 weeks. And then now I've bought potted daffodils, so I have these beautiful bright yellow daffodils on my table. And this weekend I bought some shamrocks.
Oh,
So,
fun! I don't know that I've ever bought any shamrocks. That's cool.
Oh, they're so cute. And it's just proof that spring is coming. Like, there's just not a better reminder of the promise of spring than a bulb, because they're just they're not very attractive until they bloom, like they're just, but all that beauty is in there. And then my mom had asked if we could have some wildflowers or cutting flowers somewhere in my yard. I pretty much just did my landscaping last year, and it was perennials, and some of them didn't bloom that first year. So we didn't have a real colorful yard. So I bought some seeds, some wildflower seeds that you can scatter now before our last frost date. But then I've got some trays that I'm going to start the zinnias and the cosmos and all those flowers. You can I had a friend who was doing this, and she started them in trays because you can then set out the plant on April 15th, which is our last frost date, and you'll get flowers sooner. Whereas if I just put the seeds out April 15th, I wouldn't have flowers till, probably mid-June.
Oh, that's great.
So we're going to try that. And then my neighbor has this gorgeous vine that grows on her picket fence. And I found out it was called trumpet vine, which I've read is really kind of an invasive thing. It can take over, but that's what I want. I want it to take over my fence. And so that's another reason I'm trying to get my fence ready now, because once the vine gets on there, there'll be no more painting it probably, unless I took the vine off. So
Right. Oh, that's going to be great. Yeah, I love it when those vines climb those picket fences.
Oh, wow.
Really pretty. All right. Yeah, I bought these bulbs. Can't remember maybe they were hyacinths at Trader Joe's last year, and planted them in my yard while they were still blooming. And then I ended up moving them a couple times throughout the summer after they'd already died, because I wanted to put other plants there, and they were taking up a spot and they were already dead. And I thought, well, I don't know if these bulbs will work, but here, I'll put it in the ground. They came up this week. Like, bulbs are very hardy. You can even move them around and they'll come back up.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and hyacinths smell so heavenly.
So
they
sweet.
are just, oh yeah, they smell so good.
All right, Mindy, what's the last thing that you're springing into?
Okay, so the last thing I'm springing into is just kind of a new direction in my quiet times in the morning. I have really enjoyed, probably for the last month, taking the Old Testament, the life of David, like starting with, First Kings, and First Samuel. Like, I'm in that section of the Bible leading up to David, starting to reign, and then also pairing that with a Psalms of David. And so really just taking my time learning about how to learn from the Lord, how to search for the Lord, how to seek the Lord, because David is called a man after God's own heart. And the Bible has come to life by doing that, by taking it slow and coupling, like I said, the Psalms with the life of David. And so that has been a lot of fun, actually, just a new direction with my quiet times. And then also our Sunday school class is starting a new study in Romans. And so we just got a book on Romans by Dr. David Jeremiah. And we're going through that. And that has been really exciting. And so honestly, I think sometimes, you're having quiet times, you just need help with what direction do I go? How should I study scripture? And you just have seasons where, you find something new. And that's what I'm doing right now. It's really come to life by doing it in this fashion. But also I'm going to end where Julie started. New life in Christ is so evident in the spring season. For the life of a believer, there just couldn't be a better application than winter turning into spring. I mean, all creation is declaring the glory of the Lord. If you've been sifted, or if you've lost something or someone that you loved, you can know without a doubt that God can bring new life and growth after the pain and suffering of being pruned in that way, of branches being cut off in your life. And so then just this spring, I tell you, like walking my yard all the time, it's so evident to me. Creation declaring the new life in Christ, watching buds form, watching leaves come, flowers bloom after they have been pruned. So we can know then that just the cold, the dark, and the quiet winter wasn't for nothing. There was a lot of work being done under the surface. Now, as spring shines forth with new life. So I'm having a hard time being inside right now because I am definitely singing Lord's praises as I walk my yard and I see all of this new life coming.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's great, Mindy. And I do think that switching up like what you're studying in your quiet time or what you're using can bring new excitement and new insights. And so spring is the perfect time to do that. All right. The last thing that I am springing into is I am springing into spending more time on my porch. So, and then maybe that's more of a want to spring into. I had this idealized view in my mind that when I moved to this community that's kind of like sometimes called a front porch community, I thought I would spend a lot more time on my porch than I have. I even bought a porch swing and thought, well, I'll be out there on my porch swing. But for some reason, I just don't find myself being called to go and spend time on my porch. And I started thinking about, well, what do I really miss? Because I did love spending time on my old porch. And I think what I really loved about the old one was that it was screened in. And I liked the fact that if I left my lunch out there and went in, nothing landed on it. And I liked the fact that it kind of softened the sun. Like you didn't get like the bright sun, like the screens kind of provide a little bit of a softening of and gives you maybe a little more feeling of shade, a little more feeling of privacy. I don't know. I've just really missed the screen. And so you're not allowed to screen in your front porch, but you are allowed to screen in your back porch. And so I said to Steve, I really don't feel like we really use our back porch. What would you think about having it screened in? And he said, get some quotes and see if it's something that we want to do. And so we did decide to do it. I did submit an application to the HOA. It takes a month to hear back, but I submitted it at the beginning of March. So I should hear back by the beginning of April. And hopefully I'll get the go ahead and hopefully I'll be able to enjoy a screened in porch again. I just miss it. And also, I'm going to put a table out there. I had a huge table on my last porch. This might only end up being a 2-person table because I still need to allow room for seating. But I miss being able to go out there and sit at a table if I want to have a meal or something. So I guess I'm wanting to make it a little bit more functional for how I live. So yeah, I guess my want list is to utilize that more. And I just really haven't. I've tried to give it a year and a half with no screens and I don't go out there.
Yeah, I did add a small round table to my back porch. And I live out there, so I'm out there already, but I did like the option of being able to eat at a table out there. So we did move dinner out there several nights when it's not too hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I ate dinner on my front porch last night. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich on my swing.
Oh, that's perfect.
It was like perfect. The sunset was right in front of me. It was 70 degrees. It was just glorious.
Yes.
Love that.
Yes. So you have to make your outdoor spaces something that you want to spend time in. Like you were talking a couple episodes ago, Mindy, about getting those recliner chairs, you and Bryce, and how that makes you want to go out there and sit and relax after dinner. Like you have to figure out, well, what do I want out here? Like what would draw me out here? So
Right. We've determined if we could live all of life between the back porch and the front porch, that would be enough.
Yeah.
I know. That's actually what another relief of spring is. I feel like in the winter, I've lost 2 rooms. I've lost my back porch and my front porch. It adds space to my house that, I'm going to spend most of my time in those 2 spaces in the spring and summer. So,
yeah. All right. Well, listeners, we would love to hear what you are springing into this spring. Come and find us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast or email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. But before we go, we want to do I'm a Fan. All right, Mindy, what are you a fan of this week?
I am a fan of a little resort that Bryce and I found for a very short weekend getaway to the beach with our sons. We found out last minute that we were going to have both boys together over the weekend. And so it was very stressful for me to try to find an Airbnb or a place to go that had good reviews. It takes me such a long time to feel at peace. You just never really know what you're going to walk into.
Mm-hmm.
And so Bryce actually found it's the Hilton Sandestin Golf and Beach Resort. It's right on the beach. We were able to get rooms last minute, connecting rooms. So the boys had a room and we had a room. There's a pool, heated pool, indoor, outdoor, and you're right on the beach. And so this was a last minute, honestly, a great find for us. And I'm recommending it because it just had everything we needed for a short getaway. So for us, it's only 4.5 hours to get there.
How nice.
So it is a very short trip, very easy. And then the location of this resort was honestly perfect for what we wanted to do. We actually wanted to be able to be on the beach, have time at the pool, but then we wanted to be able to have good seafood and we wanted to have places that we could shop. And this was close to everything. And there was a Winn-Dixie right there that was really nice. I actually fell in love with the grocery store. So I'm already planning on making plans to take Abby back for like a girls' weekend because even for a girls' weekend, it is the perfect little spot along the Gulf of America.
Yeah, the Gulf of America.
It's a whole new experience.
It's a whole new experience. And so I just really loved this little resort. And I'm so glad Bryce found it, and we will be going back.
I've been there.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been there?
Have
Okay.
you, Julie?
Yeah. I love that.
That's wonderful.
It's a neat area.
Yeah.
All right. Julie, what are you a fan of this week?
I'm a fan of a movie that Marie and I just saw this past week from Angel Studios. It's called Rule Breakers. And it was just really an eye-opening movie. It takes place in Afghanistan where girls still live under Sharia law and abuse from the Taliban. And so it's illegal for them to be educated. And this was the story of this one woman who kind of dares to change that. And she begins, I guess, kind of during a window where there was an opportunity to educate girls. She brought computers into the classroom and taught them coding and all of this. And it eventually morphed into an all-girls robotics team. And because of some political things, it drew like global attention. And it was just really amazing to see the hardships they face, something that us in the West can't even really fathom, that people in the 21st century still live this way. And their choices about choosing to get educated had implications for their family life, their culture, cultural implications. And it's kind of sad too, but it was a good story to be told.
It was, yeah. And I tried to find out things about the girls online after, and I don't know if they purposely don't have much out there because they don't want retaliation or what, but it did say at the end that this particular robotics team was able to escape and go to college in the US and Europe. So you felt good that at least they weren't just thrown right back into what they had managed to escape a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, I was so thrilled that they all got to go to college somewhere, in the West. So,
yeah. Yeah, it was a good movie.
And where'd you see the movie at, Julie?
It was just in the theater. Yeah, like in
the theater. Okay.
Yeah. But it's through Angel Studios, and I'll put a little plug in for them because, they're all like crowdfunded. Well, at least The Chosen is. I'm not sure about every movie, but I signed up for a membership during Christmas, I think it was $4.99 a month. It's now $20 a month. My trial period is over. But with your membership, each time a movie comes out into theaters, you're given 2 tickets to that. So they were free. I mean, free was my membership,
Okay.
So it's just a good way to support them. That's the way I'm looking at it, because I want to see more from them.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was really good. All right. This week, I'm a fan of an author. When I was looking to download books to my phone, I kind of wanted something lighthearted that I could just kind of pick up in the middle, might only read it for a few minutes, then not. And so I downloaded these books about dogs. So I've never seen this movie, but I'm going to watch it now. So it's W. Bruce Cameron is the author, and he wrote his most famous novel is A Dog's Purpose, which spent 63 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. And there's also a movie about it. So I'm gonna do the movie. And then that same book has 2 sequels. So it has A Dog's Purpose, A Dog's Journey, A Dog's Promise, and it kind of follows the same storyline all the way through. Then I read another dog book by him. I think it was called, I don't remember what it was called. But anyways, they were lighthearted, but interesting enough that I wanted to pick them back up. But you weren't trying to get into the middle of like a World War II battle, standing the Kroger line, like it was heartwarming and interesting. And so anyways, I must have liked him if I read 4 of his books in 1 week. And so if you've never read any books by W. Bruce Cameron, you might want to pick him up too. And then I'll have to let you know how the movies are.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyways. All right, you guys, I enjoyed this discussion. I enjoyed hearing about what you're going to be working on this spring. And let's hold each other accountable on some of these things.
Yeah.
Definitely. This was fun. And I'm ready to go back outside.
Okay.
Me too. I am. I'm going to paint.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk to you next week.
That's great.
All right. Bye. We're so happy you joined us today. You can find the show notes for this episode at midlifematterspodcast.com. Also, please tell a friend about the show and help them hit the free subscribe button on their favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast. That's where we post pictures and stories about all the things we talk about in each episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.